9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Morning, Sunday morning, about 7 something. Some of you are going to notice on your notifications that a video I did last week is going to be republished this morning. The reason for that is apparently I used some old music that wasn't licensed by YouTube and they struck me and whatever. So I had to take that music out and find something similar and put it on. So you'll see last week's video be posted again today. And I did some adjustments to it, and I'm sorry for boring you in it that I talked too much in last week's video. But if you guys watched it, you understand that something happened to me with the death of a close firefighter friend. Anyway, back to this week. It's been a rough week, good week, but rough week, temperature-wise, and the big jobs that we've been doing, if you follow me on the shorts. And this week I want to talk to you about two things, all right? One thing is I've been told that several times that I'm giving out too much advice and helping you guys out too much, and I'm creating competition. And I shouldn't be teaching anyone how to repair this stuff because of a couple of things. It cuts out the dealership from doing repairs, and like I say, I've been told that I'm helping out competition. I really don't care. All right, there's only so much we can do, and I'll help anyone. I get calls from guys that run chippers, that run ditch witches. They break down, and I've got nothing to do with that, and they're not my company. I run a stump grinding company, for some of you that are new. And I show you how to repair on cars or machinery or whatever, guy stuff, let's just say. If you're broke down on the side of the road and I know you or don't know you, most likely I will pull over and help you fix it.
Got a dead battery. His wife and kids are in the car. He's in a panic. When he asks you for help, you turn to him and say, "I'm sorry. I'm all alone here. I'm alone."
Or know somebody I could make a call to and diagnose the problem and send you in the right direction, right? Whether it's hydraulics or just anything, okay? I had a guy with a ditch witch. He had a coupling failed. He lost all power to ditch witch, didn't know how to get it out. And I kind of walked him through it a little bit, and I sent him a number for a hydraulics guy, and it turned out to be a coupling that went from the engine to the hydraulic pump. The bolts loosened up and the coupling wouldn't supply the pump. I told him he's not a mechanic guy. And so he said, I said, "Did you lose track?" He said, "I lost, the machine won't move." I said, "Will your booms move or anything like that?" He said, "No." I said, "Well, you got a hydraulic failure somewhere, or you got broke a line, or you're leaking." He said, "No, there's no leaks present." So we knew that there was a problem either with the pump or nothing driving the pump. It could be a number of things, but that's just, you go basic and then you start refining your way down on solving stuff, okay? So we helped that guy. We had another guy that has a chipper that seems to be a wiring issue or a switch on it, and I just kind of walked them through some stuff, and I'm sorry if you're a dealership mechanic, but sometimes, we're out in the field and guys need to be able to get it to run or whatever to at least get it to you, all right?
What does that say, son?
Vito.
Right. But your name is Dick.
Correct. Because if Vito worked on your transmission and your transmission goes kaput, how can anybody blame it on Dick?
So it's just like the zero turn. I went to the shop that sells it and repairs them. They told me there's no way to repair that transmission and I'll never get that yoke off. I found the parts, called around, spent an evening on YouTube, on the internet, found the parts, got the seals, just an oil seal that was bad, bought a new hub, and I showed you in the video, and then I made a short on how to get the seal in. Because, no one wants to tell you how to do simple stuff. So I repaired that they said it would be like $1,100 to repair that on the zero turn. I repaired it for I think it was $120 total, but if I found out later the exact code of the yoke I cut off, I paid with shipping and everything about $100 and something for the yoke. I later on transposed the numbers and found it on Amazon for 40 something dollars. So, but it's okay. I fixed it, and rather than spending over $1,000 repaired, I did it for just a little bit of over 100. So, even going to repair shops, they just want to cut short you and don't want to do the heavy labor. They just want to buy a new part, unbolt it, put the new part in, send you on your way. Nobody wants to take anything apart and repair it anymore. This is what I'm going to show you here. My brother and I use a machine shop. That's Oil Field Machine Shop. And they don't run CNCs. They run the old lathes. And they repair cylinders. All right. So on anything, bulldozers, cranes, oil field stuff, big to small. And they're a great place. They're getting old. But they're great guys, all right, and they take great care of us. And I'm going to show you an upgrade to machinery, just in general, all right? It's not the manufacturer's fault a lot of times. They don't make everything. A lot of your machinery, I don't care if it's like a skid steer or whatever, they buy a pump from this person. They buy hydraulic cylinders from this person. They just, and then they basically, the engineers designed it and then they bolt it all together. That's how it really works in the real world. Okay, so it may not be, Joe Blow Company makes this, let's say, bulldozer, okay? They make this bulldozer and it's not their fault really, because on certain things, because, okay, let's say the ram, and the ram, a pin in it, I'll show you in a minute, wears out. They just put the specs out what they wanted, and they looked around themselves. Basically, they do internet or supplier hunting, and they found a ram that fits in there, and they go in there or whatever. Long term, there are really a lot of places are not aware, on a smaller scale, is I'm not saying cat or whatever, they're not aware of what fails, okay, and how to upgrade. In the automotive world, I'll put it to you this way. That's why there's Holley and all these Edelbrock and these aluminum heads and this race car stuff. All right? They took, let's say, what Chevy had, and you made 450 horsepower, let's say. They said, well, okay, well, if we make an aluminum head and modify it here and modify it there, it'll produce another 50 horsepower. I'm just giving you a whatever about it. And so that's the aftermarket world. Or we make a better bushing that'll hold better for guys that want to race more or corner harder. There's an aftermarket world. Well, I tend to, and my brother and I tend to, doing this stuff so long, we kind of know what fails, and we come up with, and we just don't do it by ourselves. When we go to that fabricating shop or whatever, he said, hey, listen, we're wearing here or whatever, any ideas, and two heads come together. And he said, well, yeah, we'll make it thicker. We'll put this kind of bushing in it or whatever bushing. And it lasts longer. Now, manufacturers have to make money by selling you parts. Let's just face it. If they sold you a machine and it never broke down, there's only so many machines they would sell, and so they make a lot of money. You'll know if you call for parts. You're like, what the hell? $1,000 for that part? It's just, that's how they make their money. They make their money on parts, on any manufacturer, cars or whatever. You know, that car, that little whatever may have cost the factory 10 cents to make, but they sell it to you for $8. And you're like, what the hell? Yeah, it was 10 cents. Then you ordered, I don't know, let's just say 1 million of them, and they put them all in the cars and they built the car. But then on the part shelves, they got to make the money because it's sitting there and it's inventory, and that's how they make their money. Okay. Then the dealership's got to make their markup. Blah 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 blah. I know I'm boring you, but let me shut this and turn this down here to show you, give you an idea how we beef things up. Okay. This is a hydraulic cylinder. Some of you guys, what is it for? Basically, it's a ram. Okay, it goes in and out. This one goes in and out. All right. Now, over time, this is 10-ton ram. I'm pretty sure it's 10 ton. It could be a little less, a little more, but there's a pin that goes in here, and this goes to a steering link, and it turns your big wheels left or right on this particular piece of equipment that I'm working on, right? Now, over time, here's two failures that'll happen on this rim. You got big tires, and if you're in the mud or you're in uneven terrain or going over a curb or in a rut, this ram is pushing so hard, all right, after time things wear. Now I'm going to tell you another reason why they wear here. This one here has a grease port here, all right? Now the grease only comes out and it only goes here. So after time, it starts wearing on this side. You see, it's pretty damn worn, stretched, okay? And this pin goes in here. It's supposed to fit in here really nice and tight, and now we got wibble wobbles, you know. On this side, very nice and tight. Because this side is basically stationary and it's pushing. So it's pushing this way and it's going like this. All right, when it's pushing. All right, this wheel's turning a lot. Now, when they wear, I like to pull the pins out, I grease them, put them in, and they still wear after time. You know, I mean, 400 hours or let's say 1,000 hours, things wear out. All right, they do on everything, on excavators, on bulldozer, everything. Okay, now this is the thickness that they come. This is the damage that elongated, right? So I'll send it to the machine shop and I'll show you on one that I'm rebuilding right now what I get back, okay? And then I'll have them side by side so you can see. This is an older one. It just came back from the machine shop. You see that? You see that? All right. Let me get my pin. Even the tolerances are very, very tight. There's the pin. It'll go in nicey, with no grease. All right. We don't have any play in there. Now, let me show you something here that you need to really see when I show you side by side. And I'm going to show you on paper the difference. Because some of you guys don't know measurements very well. And some of you guys are overseas, you're using metric, and I use standard. So, I'm going to give you a visual difference. And we'll go with this side here. There's a visual difference. See how heftier we go? See how bigger we go? All right. Now, on paper, so you can see right here, the big difference. And when you go with a better grade steel too, all right. That's the old one. That's the thickness from here to here. Okay, the outer to inner. That's this one here. This is the new one. So the lines are straight from here to here. Now you see how we're beefing it up. All right, and they're drilled and tapped for grease. We still recommend pulling the pin, greasing it all the way around, using a good tacky grease. Grease. All right, metal. So now the manufacturer just specs these out, buys them, you know, and they get them like this, so it's good enough. But for us, we upgrade everything. As things wear, we upgrade, right? And so on an old machine out there, I know I keep saying I'm going to be showing you how I'm rebuilding it, but I still have this car in here in my bay, and I want to be able to lift the machine. And I've got that car in the bay, and sooner in a month, the lady's out at her lake resort, so when she picks it up, I'll be freer in this side of the shop. And I got something in on the other side of the shop, so my shop, I've kind of run out of room, and I could do it all here, but I want to be able to put the machine up on the lift and work on it there. That's just me. I'm old and I'm getting lazier. Well, actually smarter. So, now that I've bored you for Sunday morning, I'm just letting you know that you can upgrade things, right? So, yes, sometimes it's the fault of a manufacturer putting out, let's just say, inferior products or whatever, but cost is a big thing too, all right? I mean, so I struggled with this last night, thinking about it and wondering about manufacturers. Why don't they build the best, whatever? What if you built a car that never broke down or a truck that never broke down? Well, they'd probably be out of business after a while, right? Because you'd never have to buy a new one. You just freaking just, wouldn't it be that way? I mean, if you think about it hard and heavy, if it never broke down, you'd buy one and use it for the rest of your life. They didn't have to wait for a new person to be born for that one to be buying it, right? So I know it's a twisted way of thinking, but that's just my 2 cents. Another question that came up is, why don't I let my son just go out on his own and me just stay in the shop? 2 things. I wouldn't be out there showing you tricky and dangerous jobs and how to either do it or avoid it. And the second thing is, this is for all you dads. You can put a comment in there, please. I'm a little confused on this, and your guidance helps me also. Am I wrong? But if something happened to my son, or let's say your son, and you could have been there to prevent it, when you feel terrible for the rest of your freaking life or want to kill yourself, and I'm being honest. I mean, and you puzzle for the rest of your life, why wasn't I there? Why was I in here? And that's just me, all right? And this is quality time I'm spending with my son. I go to work with him every day. I would just die if something happened to him. He's what I got. Anyway, God bless you as a dad, and thanks for even giving me the time to watch this. Hopefully I taught you something, and don't let a shop tell you it can't be done. Don't overthink it. Just take your time. If you got to walk away from a project, walk away, because when you come back with a new set of eyes, or call a friend in, or a family member that's good with stuff like this too, and put your both heads together, all right? See you next week.